Go ahead and call the February 12th Planning and Zoning Commission, City of Post Falls to order. Will you please stand with me for the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, welcome everyone. Go ahead and take roll call.
Steffensen.
Here.
Carey.
Here.
Kimball.
Present.
Davis.
Here.
Latham.
Here.
Bishop.
Here.
All right. Mr. Manley, any amendments to the agenda this evening?
There is none.
Okay, do we have any ceremonies, appointments, announcements, and/or presentations?
I did want to remind the commission that we have the comp plan review that's been sent out. Hopefully you've all received that. If you haven't, please let me know. But the due date for comments is for this Friday.
Okay.
So if you need some other special arrangements, just let me know and see what we can come up with.
Okay. Thank you for that reminder. Appreciate it. Commissioners, declaration of conflict. Anyone?
None.
Okay. Then we'll go ahead and move on to the consent calendar, Mr. Manley.
Yeah, it's item A, minutes from the January 8th, 2019 date.
Okay, I move to approve the consent calendar as presented.
Second.
It's moved and seconded. Roll.
Bishop.
Yes.
Latham.
Yes.
Davis.
Yes.
Kimball.
Yes.
Carey.
Yes.
Steffensen.
Yes.
Next item on this evening's agenda is, I just lost it, citizen issues. Citizen issues is set aside, reserved for citizens wishing to address the commission on issues not on the agenda. Comments on issues that are for planned or future meetings should be held until that meeting. Do we have anyone that wishes to speak? Not seeing any, then we'll go ahead and move on. Any unfinished old business this evening?
There's none.
Okay, so that'll take us to the meat of tonight's meeting, and that is our public hearing. We'll go ahead and open.
Sorry, I'm just getting things adjusted real quick.
Oh, you're good.
Good evening, Commissioners. John Manley, Planning Manager here with the City of Post Falls, introducing the Selkirk zone change, case file RZNE 8/2018. The owner of the land, Selkirk Construction, with the applicant representative and part of the ownership of this company, Scott Haug. The requested action is to change the zoning of this area from limited commercial, which is intended to be like a neighborhood commercial zoning district, to high-density multifamily R3. The R3 allows multifamily up to 18 dwelling units per acre. So you're being asked to review this proposed zone change request and make a recommendation for approval to City Council. Looking at the location, it is just off the southwest corner of Spokane Street and 10th. If you see some of the uses nearby, we got the library, we got the Boys and Girls Club, some property owned by the school district, we got some single family homes. It's also in close proximity to Mullen Avenue and Celtice Way, which, you know, would be considered more of like an urban core type intersection. Property size is 0.28 acres. Current land use is for residential. Some characteristics is that being residential has no topology or vegetation issues. Both water and sewer would be provided by the City of Post Falls. One item to note is that the CityLink bus stop is in close proximity to the proposed zone change. Looking at the zone change criteria, the first one, amendments to a zoning map should be in accordance with the zoning map. actually, what's that supposed to say, actually, I apologize, is amendments to zoning should be in accordance with the, as designated on the comprehensive plan map, and the designation on that map is what you see here is residential, so it's consistent with the future land use map. It's also supposed to be in accordance with the goals and policies found in the comp plan. In the staff report, it was cited how in general, the comp plan policies for residential and commercial, they kind of work in synergy, is, you know, getting rooftops or encouraging rooftops more towards your urban core, your high density. Ideally, you'd have other public services nearby, enhancing the walkability and the reducing the reliance on the vehicular as the mode of transportation for, like, specifically multifamily. And this proposal, you know, being the fact that they're looking at R3 multifamily, would meet the policies in that comp plan. Zoning is also assigned in considering street classification, traffic patterns, existing development, future land use, and other geographic natural features. All of this is to enhance Post Falls, leaving it to be a more desirable, stable, and sustainable community. So going back to the map, you're looking at kind of, I don't want to rehash everything, but you got commercial services nearby, you got the bus link, you got services to complement additional housing in this area. Looking at the surrounding zoning, what you see in pink, this is the limited commercial area with commercial to the north and to the south of this property. One could argue, if you look at the commercial corridor and, you know, Southeast Way and Mullen Avenue in Spokane, those are both really busy intersections. This technically could probably be CCS just as much as it's limited commercial. Hence, when you look at these other zone change criteria, commercial and high density residential zoning is typically assigned along streets with a higher road classification. So Spokane Street being an arterial street, and the proximity of this high density residential zoning would be consistent with this criteria. The following one, limited or neighborhood commercial and lower density residential zoning, is typically assigned for properties as you proceed further away from urban activity areas. So one could argue that the current zoning is less consistent with the criteria for establishing zoning than what's being proposed. And the next one deals with industrial zoning, and they're not asking for industrial, so that wouldn't be applicable. Here's all the agencies that are routed for comments and are informed about the proposal, of which Kootenai County Fire and the Post Falls Police both commented as being neutral on this proposed project. So this kind of sums up the staff report on the proposed project, and the applicant is here to answer any other questions if you don't have any for me at this point.
How many units could be put on that 0.28 acres? 4?
The max that they could do is 5.
5?
It's
Okay.
the 18 times the 0.28.
Okay.
Well, maybe with some design consideration, there is some administrative exception stuff that could potentially max out at probably 6. But that would be through another process administratively where we would look at design, access, and some other avenues.
The two on each side of that, what are they currently used as?
The one to the west is a single-family residence, and I believe the one to the east is an accountant.
Mm-hmm.
So a commercial,
Sorry, commercial, okay.
accountant place.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you, Mr. Manley. Applicant.
Well, good evening. It's been a while since I've been at this podium here. I appreciate the opportunity to be heard tonight. I don't have a whole lot to offer. I mean, we've read through the report that staff did. Staff has been outstanding to work with, and we agree with all of the conclusions that they have come to on this project. I just want to touch on 4 things just real briefly here, if I could. Number one, I think this appears to meet all of the approval criteria for what we're proposing here. I think that's important to note. It's also consistent with the future zoning for that area. I've talked with John about that, and it just, again, this makes sense. Number two, it's consistent with the comp plan, and the last one that I think is worth noting, and probably the most important, that there's been no public comment. And so if there was some kind of concern with what is being proposed here, we certainly would have had some kind of public comment. So those are the four things that, that I would like to note. And with that, I'd be glad to stand for any questions that you might have.
One thing that I just simply ask for record purposes, will you state your name and address for us?
I apologize.
No,
yes.
you're good.
It's Scott Hoag. It's Haug, and our address is 10157 North Tarrant Street in Hayden.
Fantastic,
Thank
thank
you.
you. Any questions for applicant?
No.
No? Simple enough, thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Okay. We have 4 neutral against. Any comment at this point?
No.
Seeing none, there'd be no need for rebuttal. Any questions for applicant or staff before I close the hearing?
No.
No? So we'll go ahead and close it and open it up for comment. Anyone want to share?
No, I just have to agree. It does, it follows all the requirements, and the big thing is that there has been no negative comments from anyone about having multifamily put there, so, and it is within a use, so I think it's a good plan.
Yeah, our comp plan says it should be residential and not limited commercial, and it's really close to an arterial.
Bus stop, the whole
Yeah,
bit.
bus stop. It's close to, services. It's got schools really close by. It's got, basically the busiest intersection, one could argue, in our city, within, 3 blocks. So that all makes sense for multifamily, higher density.
Absolutely. Any other comment?
Like when I first looked at this, I was thinking there's not a lot of commercial, and I'm always hesitant about changing commercial to multifamily, but it actually makes sense to have multifamily there. And of all things, not limited commercial, but probably CCS along Spokane Street, which is not anything to do with tonight. But so I think that does make it does make a lot of sense in this case. And in the building to the east, these are small parcels, and so that'll never be a large multi-story type commercial space probably, and it's more of a limited commercial type of a quieter use by nature anyway, so it makes sense. It's very compatible.
Absolutely. Anybody else? Then I would look for a motion.
I'll do it. I move to approve the Selkirk zone change file number RZNE0008-2018 with a zoning of R3.
I will
I second.
say it first.
Okay.
All
Moved and seconded.
right.
call.
Steffensen,
Yes.
Carey,
Yes.
Kimball,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Latham,
Yes.
Bishop.
Yes.
All right, so moved. Mr. Manley, any new business this evening?
There's none.
Staff comments?
Stay warm, drive safe.
Yes, absolutely. Commission comments? Anything
Ditto.
Look at the order? Yeah, echoing what Mr. Manley said. All right, then I would go ahead and look for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.